why should we claim we are developing and we don't have any well thought out, clear emergency medical services? Today, 21 people just died, perished like that. God forbid it. If any of us along Lokoja, Abuja Road, you have an accident, you will see people bringing axes and cutlasses trying to extricate you. If you are lucky, you get a helix. That's kind of like this. Those are critical issues of development that we're not paying attention to.
How national is the Zenith Labour Party? Because when people talk about the Zenith Labour Party, they say, oh, it's a special purpose vehicle that you have created to
I didn't create it. I didn't create it.
Or that you have appropriated. How national, how much spread do you have nationally in terms of structures?
Ruben, I keep saying, let me just say this. Don't despise our humble beginning. We started as a party just a few months back. But like I said, we have people who are bringing on board their vast experience and network in politics. Our spread is respectable, but we are still growing. People are getting to know what we stand for. People are getting to know that, look at the political terrain. There's no big idea out there. It is all the same idea about development and all of that. People talk about job creation. I'm not convinced that they want to create the type of job that will take more than 50% of our graduates who are unemployed or under disguised employment. I have not seen it out there. Nobody spelled it out clearly how they want to do it. Today in Nigeria, about 70 million people in this country are out of the financial loop. They are not in the formal financial sector. I don't know how they want to do it. Read AMCON. There's an elite capture in this country. AMCON says that 350 Nigerians are owing 2.5 trillion naira. That's 80% of the debt portfolio of AMCON. So it is a government of elite by elite for elite. We want to break it down and tell Nigerians that we are living a lie if we continue this way, unless we have, we have never, black race, we've never been a part of the first, second, third revolution. There's a fourth industrial revolution, unless we also want to be onlookers. If you look at our indices today, we are approximating the indices of 18th century Europe.
Well, President Buhari wants a second term. The PDP is also looks like it has recovered from whatever issues it may have been dealing with. And a number of people say, look, it has a strong ticket with Abubakar Atiku and Peter Obi. In terms of strategy, how do you intend to get you should just not even...
people will get to know very soon that it's more than a two-horse race. Like I tell you, Ruben, we're going to address fundamental issues that touch people's lives. We're going to talk of human capital development in ways that people don't understand it. We're going to talk about things that matter to development like no other party is talking about it. We're going to draw on our experience of what we have done before to convince people that we have the capacity to think out of the box and make impossible possible. You see, if we continue along this path of predictable routine development, unless we have consigned ourselves to the fact that just like we have been spectators on the stage of human development, that our children and grandchildren should also consign themselves to be spectators, then we can afford all this snail speed of development. We've got to think out of the box. We've got to do things differently.
But how do you deal with the ethnicization of politics, considering the fact that, the perception in a section of the country is that, the power should still remain in the north for another 4 years.
It is because people who are saying that don't appreciate that we are in an emergency. Let me give you an example, and I said it. 58,000 women, not women, young ladies and women die in a year. And that calculated, there's also the anecdote of a 747. A 4747 has an average passenger capacity of 470. Now, with 58,000 women dying a year, that is every third day in Nigeria, a full load of 747 is crashing on us of young people at the prime of their age. You see an emergency? Look, today in Nigeria, If there's road traffic accident, there's no rescue for anybody. So people must know that we are in an emergency. In an emergency situation, you don't start thinking of it comes from the north, it comes from the middle, it comes from... We must get our most competent hand, we must get the most experienced hand, we must get the deep narratives that we think can take us out of where we are. Let me tell you, let me continue. Now, the ethnicization of Nigerian politics, it's also part of an elite game. And I tell you, I said it earlier on that there's a dominant elite capture in this country. It's part of the elite game. Somebody said when the elites get to their play houses, they know how to get things. It is when we're talking about power. But I must relate that to what plan I think will take us out of the doldrum. The irreducible minimum for me is that we must run it through federal structure.
Well, in the course of this conversation, you must have referred to the health sector about thrice. Yeah. And that was a major area of focus for you as governor of Ondo State.
Incidentally, Ruben, the health sector, even in the United States of America, what is the major focus of area is health. You don't know that you are a poor man. Even you, Ruben, with all due respect, I know you are a big man. You are nailed it by definition. But Ruben, you see, you only know you are a really poor man if you are in an emergency and you need money to save your own life. So health is very, very central. In Nigeria, 70% of health expenditure is out of pocket. In Nigeria, at least 10 million people get tipped into poverty every year because of health expenditure.
But before we wrap up, in Ondo State, your successor, Governor Akeredolu, one of the first things he did was to abandon what you did in the health sector, particularly with regard to maternal health care, free health care services.
Ruben, let me tell you, each time I presented papers on a BA, I presented it in Chatham House twice. I've gone to Center for Strategic Studies in Washington. I've been all over the place presenting it. And the first question people always ask me is, how do you sustain this program? And my response has always been, you can sustain the program by legislation. But in any case, nothing stops anybody. You know what Trump is doing to the Affordable Care Act of Obama. But I'd always insisted that the best way to sustain any program is for the people to have ownership of the program. Once people benefit from the program, once they have ownership, anybody that wants to tamper with it must know that it has a price to pay. You remember what happened in Ondo State? Pregnant women were on the streets demonstrating against the government for wanting to tamper with our BA program. On that same day, the permanent secretary said something different from what the commissioner said. Eventually, the latest is that the governor has made it clear that he will restore the free health program for pregnant women in Ondo State. Because, look, they are not there yet. People still, you told Ondo State, people still have nostalgia about what it used to be. But in principle, the governor has spread it out clearly that they will restore free health program. Anybody that wants to tamper with it has a price to pay. Don't forget, for 7 good years, uninterrupted, we gave free health services, including cesarean section, to all women in our state. And we're able to crash maternal mortality by more than 70%.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko.
Thank you, Ruben.
Presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party. I wish we had more time, but we have to take a break now. India and Mercy will be back with the rest of the stories here on Arise Africa after this break. Stay with us.